Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about three tips for extreme weight loss. And if you have a large amount of weight to lose, never fun to think about. So, rewind 6 years ago when I was morbidly obese, topping the scale at 288 pounds, it sucked. Like, I was so envious of those people that, had 5 or 10 pounds to lose, because it seemed like that was a molehill and my 160 pounds were a mountain. And it was so, I would see the, before and afters of people that had extreme weight loss. And I would watch things like The Biggest Loser or My 600 Pound Life or whatever that show is on TV. And I would see other people do it. I would see things here on YouTube, before and afters, people telling their story. And I would always, and here I was failing, floundering, riding along on the struggle bus. You ever rode the struggle bus? Well, I had ridden the struggle bus for like a decade, like so bad. And I would see all these before and afters, and I would see all these transformations. My hair is sticking to my lip gloss. Get off there. I would see all these transformations, and I would wonder, what am I doing wrong? Like, all these other people can do it, but how come I am struggling so hard and so bad? Like, what the freaking heck? And so today I want to go over 3 tips for extreme weight loss. And like, look, here's the deal. I could sit down and chat with you all day long about weight loss tips and things like that. In fact, if you go back to some of our older videos, we upload weight loss tips and strategies every single week. We're live here on the channel every single Tuesday night. So if you have not clicked the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. That'll notify you when we do upload. And these tips aren't tips that I read in a book. They're not tips that I went to school for. I'm not a certified nutritionist. I learned these through the school of hard knocks, through life experience, through struggling and failing at weight loss, and then finally succeeding. Finally losing 161 pounds, going from a size 22 to a size 2. When you do that, you learn some things. Today, having coaching programs, working with clients to help them lose weight. So this all comes from my personal weight loss journey and then helping my clients on their weight loss journey. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in. Tip number one is don't drink your calories. Don't drink your calories. So I used to be addicted to Dr. Pepper. And a lot of times you see overweight people drinking diet soda. Just people in general, skinny people, overweight people. It's not just overweight people, but you see a lot of people drinking diet soda. I was never the diet soda kind of gal. I was like, give me the Dr. Pepper. I drank full fat Dr. Pepper. And some days I would drink like a whole 2 liter just myself, especially on the weekends. The weekends, you let it all hang out. I would drink more soda on the weekends just because. Go through the drive-thru. Even if I wasn't getting any food at fast food, it was nothing for me to run through the McDonald's drive-thru and grab a Dr. Pepper or a Mr. Pip or whatever it was that they had. I don't even remember what they have there now. But anyway, Gatorades, tropical fruit smoothies, the juices. But what most people don't realize, your Starbucks Frappuccino, coffee, latte, hot chocolate, ciders, all those things are chocked full of calories. And now, being in the weight loss industry, when I see a sign for Starbucks, I'll immediately look to see how many calories are in that drink. And I used to drink it like it was nothing. I mean, I used to drink 1,000 to 2,000 calories every single day. Sure, I would have some water, but the water was like sprinkled in with everything else that I drank. And, sugar is addictive. And so when we're addicted to sugar, that normally just isn't in food. It comes in our drinks as well. And so one of the worst things you can do if you're trying to lose weight is drink your calories. You want to make sure you're drinking water, lots of water. Water is always helpful with weight loss. Other things you can drink, they have a 0-calorie Gatorade now. If you're going to drink soda, at least go to diet. And look, I'm not advocating for soda. Soda is not healthy. But sometimes when you're trying to lose weight, cutting it all off cold turkey can be hard. So like the first 100 days of me losing weight, I drank soda. I switched to diet soda, and I eventually weaned myself off to where I drink 90% water. But in the very beginning, to cut it all out would have been a recipe for failure. And I had heard all these weight loss experts and gurus talk about how soda was the devil. And again, there's lots of crappy things in soda. I don't think there's probably anything good in soda. But for me, just starting, going to diet, so I still felt like I had something, was better than cutting it off cold turkey. But at least I was stopping drinking my calories. Some of the water flavorings, they have LaCroix, which is like, a sparkling flavored water. So there's lots of other options, but you want to stop drinking your calories if you really want to start losing weight. And here's the great thing about all three of these things. If you have extreme weight to lose, if you have 50, 100, 161 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever it is, these small differences are going to make such a huge, these small things are going to make such a huge difference in your body and in your weight, especially the more weight you have to lose. Obviously, when I started at 288 pounds, there were weeks where I would lose 5 or 6 pounds in the beginning. That clearly tapered down the smaller I got. But in the beginning, the more weight you have to lose, these little things make a huge difference. Tip 2 is to stop eating out. Sorry, I totally just kicked the camera. I was trying to adjust. Stop eating out. Stop eating out. And I'm mainly talking about fast food. I'm mainly talking about, when you're driving through the drive-thru, mainly what I'm talking about. Here's what I will tell you. I never used to talk about how often I went through the drive-thru, especially when I worked outside the home and I was out and about every day, running errands, going to work, lunch. I almost never packed my lunch going to work. I almost always either skipped lunch or would go eat out somewhere. And when you're eating out somewhere, you're literally putting some of the highest calorie foods inside of your body. And so take the time, pack your lunch, prepare your own food, know what you're putting into your body. Because if you are just in the habit of just shoveling in empty calories, which is basically what fast food is. There's not a lot of nutritional value, but it's a lot of calories. And again, that's a habit. When I started taking the time to prepare my food, I started losing weight, which, I started actually realizing how many calories were in things. I can remember going to the McDonald's drive-thru at some point and seeing wow, the 2 cheeseburger meal with the large soda, the fries, and the 2 cheeseburgers, I was ingesting more than 1,000 calories in one meal. And going through the drive-thru is a habit. And I can remember even when I started losing weight, I would leave the house and it was hard to drive by the McDonald's, to drive by the Taco Bell, just to go out and drive by all those restaurants, knowing I was choosing not to stop. I could stop. A lot of times people say, oh, I can't eat that. No, just because you're trying to lose weight, nobody has a gun to your head saying you can't eat it. You're making a choice that lines up with your goals. And just kind of flipping that switch makes a big difference, because there's a difference in feeling like you can't. That feels like you're being restricted. It feels like, when you ever notice when someone tells you you can't have something, you want it even more, versus I can totally have that double cheeseburger meal, but I'm choosing not to. That is empowering. You making a good decision empowers you. You being told you can't do something just makes you want to do it. So just kind of flipping that in your brain. So when I would go out, it was no, I totally could go through that drive-thru right now and get 2 Big Macs if I wanted to. But I'm going to make a choice, a wise choice. I'm going to make a choice that lines up with my goals of where I want to go, not where I'm at. And so, just start preparing your own food. Start preparing your own food. And when you're doing that, again, this one thing is going to make, if you just stop drinking your calories and you stop going through the drive-thru, OMG, just those 2 things alone would be such a game changer for most of us that struggle with our weight. All right, number 3, patience. Patience. You have got to be patient. Rome was not built in a day. You did not wind up 50 pounds overweight like that. You didn't wind up 100 pounds overweight like that. It took us some time to pack on the pounds, right? So with that being said, it's going to take some time for the pounds to come off. But I can remember so many times committing to a diet, committing to working out, committing to small changes like not eating fast food or whatever it was. And I would like get through the first day, I would get on the scale and I'd be like, even though I could tell you today, of course I wasn't going to lose 5 pounds the first day. I would expect immediate results. I would expect, and I was so impatient that I would get frustrated. And that frustration would cause me to quit more times than I can even count. And so you have got to be patient. You have got to give yourself time. In fact, you have got to take quitting off the table. That when you commit this time, that you would say, I'm not just going to try this out for 30 days. I'm not just going to try this out for 60 days. I'm not just going to try this out for 90 days. I am going to commit that I am here until I reach my goal. I don't care if it takes me a year. I don't care if it takes me 2 years. I don't care if it takes me 5 years. Quitting is not an option. When you take quitting off the table, success is your only option. When there's no plan B, that means plan A has to work. So many times I'll be working with a client and they'll say, all right, Carmen, I'm going to give this a shot. And I always tell them, look, I don't want you to give it a shot. You and I are going to work together until we cross that finish line together. And I don't care if it takes us 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, 2 years, or 3 years. I am committed to see this thing through with you. Are you just as committed? Because if you're not committed to the goal, you will never reach the goal. And so you have got to be patient and you have got to give yourself time. And you cannot compare your journey to anybody else's. So many times we'll compare our beginning to someone else's middle or someone else's end. I spent a decade failing at weight loss. Finally succeeded. Lost 161 pounds in 13 months. Went from a size 22 to a size 2. You can't compare your beginning to my end. Why? Because I've already been on the path longer than you. So you can't compare where you're at just starting to where someone else has been for 6 months or to someone's ending. Your story is your story. You are just starting. And so give yourself patience, give yourself grace, and go all in. Don't look at your past failures, because your past failures mean squat to your future successes. And just because you failed in the past doesn't mean you're destined to fail in the future. And so Rome wasn't built in a day. And your weight loss isn't going to happen overnight. Wouldn't it be great if it did, though? Wouldn't it be great if we could okay, I'm going to do this. Wake up and we're skinny. That would be so awesome. You know what though? It wouldn't. Because it's the things that you have to work hard for that you appreciate. And I've had to work really hard to lose weight. I mean, a decade of failing, a decade of morbidly obese, a decade of shoving myself into Spanx every single day has made me appreciate where I'm at today, has made me appreciate the body that I have worked so hard for. It's taught me, if I just woke up skinny, as great as that sounds, I would never know how to maintain it. Because along the road of losing it, if you do it right, you'll learn how to maintain it. And so anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have not hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and we will catch you on the next one.